You don't have a focus problem. You have a world that doesn't understand how your mind works. Every time you try to choose one path, it feels like you're betraying the other versions of yourself. And that's not confusion. That's intelligence trying to expand. You have never lacked direction. You have lacked a framework that understands you. From the outside, your life may look inconsistent. A new interest every few months. A sudden deep dive into something completely different. You learn fast, you get excited quickly, and you feel fully immersed when something captures your attention. But just as quickly, your mind begins scanning again, searching for the next challenge, the next idea, the next frontier. And because the world praises linear progress, you start questioning yourself. You compare your path to people who chose one profession early and stayed there. You wonder why you can't do the same. You try to force stability by narrowing your focus, but the restriction feels suffocating. You are not struggling because you lack discipline. You are struggling because you are trying to compress a multidimensional mind into a single dimension of expression. Your interests are not random. They are signals. They reveal how your brain seeks stimulation, growth, and connection. Instead of seeing them as detours, imagine them as data points forming a larger map. You are not moving in circles. You are gathering pieces of a structure you have not yet learned to assemble. Society has a powerful habit of turning difference into deficiency. If you change directions, you are called inconsistent. If you explore multiple passions, you are labeled unfocused. If you question traditional paths, you are told you are unrealistic. Over time, these messages settle quietly in your identity. You begin to monitor yourself. You hesitate before sharing new ideas. You downplay your interests. You apologize for being curious. The shame does not come from within. It comes from comparison. Modern systems were designed around specialization. One role, one skill, one predictable output. That model rewarded repetition and long-term stability in a single domain. But when you operate differently, you start to feel like you are failing at something that was never built for you. The problem is not your curiosity. The problem is the measurement system. You are being evaluated by standards designed for linear thinkers. And when a non-linear mind is placed inside a linear framework, it appears chaotic, even when it is not. Shame is often mislabeling. What looks like distraction may actually be exploration. What looks like instability may actually be adaptability. You were never meant to shrink to fit a narrow definition of success. You were meant to expand into a structure that supports your complexity. What if your multi-passionate nature is not something to fix, but something to refine? The human brain is not built for only one type of thinking. It is designed for both depth and breadth. Exploration allows you to discover possibilities. Specialization allows you to master them. You do not need to eliminate one to validate the other. Your curiosity is not chaos. It is pattern-seeking behavior. When something interests you, your brain is identifying potential value. It is scanning environments for opportunity. This is not weakness. It is intelligence operating in discovery mode. The mistake happens when exploration is treated as commitment. Exploration is research. It is not identity. It is not a promise. It is information gathering. Instead of asking, why can't I stick to one thing? Shift the question to, how can I structure my curiosity? When you stop fighting your natural tendencies, your energy stabilizes. You begin to notice themes. Your interests are not random. They are interconnected. They share underlying patterns. The reframe is simple but powerful. You are not scattered. You are distributed. And distribution, when organized properly, becomes strength. Your brain operates in dynamic balance between exploration and exploitation. Exploration is the drive to seek novelty, learn new skills, and gather information. Exploitation is the drive to refine one skill and deepen mastery. Both are essential for growth. If you only exploit, you stagnate. If you only explore, you never build depth. Healthy minds cycle between both modes. Dopamine plays a central role in curiosity and motivation. It is not just a pleasure chemical. It is a learning signal. It activates when you encounter novelty, progress, and anticipation. That surge you feel when starting something new is not instability. It is neurobiology encouraging discovery. From an evolutionary perspective, exploration increased survival. Environments change, resources shift. Adaptable individuals who could learn quickly and integrate new information were more likely to thrive. Your multi-interest pattern reflects cognitive flexibility, the ability to switch between concepts and see relationships others might miss. This trait is especially valuable in complex environments where solutions are rarely isolated. You are not wired incorrectly. You are wired for adaptability. Your brain is not asking you to settle. It is asking you to organize. Imagine the difference between a straight beam and a network of interconnected bridges. A straight beam is simple. It works well in stable environments. But when conditions change, it can break under pressure. Now imagine an ecosystem. Forests, roots, fungi, multiple species interacting in balance. The strength of the system comes from diversity. If one part weakens, another supports it. Your mind resembles an ecosystem more than a factory. Factories reward repetition. Ecosystems reward interconnection. In a linear system, specialization creates efficiency. In a complex system, integration creates resilience. The modern world increasingly resembles an ecosystem. Interconnected, unpredictable, rapidly evolving. When your interests connect across domains, you create intellectual bridges. These bridges allow ideas to move between fields. That is innovation. You are not meant to function like a single-purpose tool. You are designed like a network, and networks become stronger as they grow connections. For much of history, stability meant mastering one trade and repeating it for decades. That model created reliability in slower economies. But today's world moves differently. Technology evolves rapidly. Industries overlap. Careers shift. New roles emerge that did not exist years ago. In such an environment, adaptability is more valuable than rigidity. The ability to learn quickly, combine skills, and transfer knowledge across domains is increasingly powerful. Problems are no longer isolated, they are interconnected. Solutions require synthesis. Multi-passionate thinkers naturally build connections between fields. They translate ideas from one domain to another. They innovate by combining perspectives. The world is shifting from linear hierarchies to dynamic networks, and network thinkers thrive in network systems. This does not mean specialization is obsolete. It means integration is rising in importance. Your mind was not built for yesterday's economy. It is aligned with today's complexity. Let me give this framework a name: the M-shaped model. The first peak represents exploration, learning broadly, collecting skills, following curiosity. The middle valley represents integration, reflecting, identifying patterns, discovering recurring themes. The second peak represents synthesis, combining interests into focused projects at the intersection of your strengths. The final rise represents convergence, building depth, not by narrowing your identity, but by refining the overlap of your passions. The M-shaped model transforms scattered energy into structured growth. Instead of choosing one path forever, you move through cycles with intention, exploration, integration, execution, refinement. This is not chaos. It is design. Someone once felt ashamed of their shifting interests. They tried to force themselves into a single career identity, but it never felt authentic. Instead of fighting their curiosity, they studied it. They noticed a pattern. Every interest they pursued revolved around understanding people and building things that communicate ideas clearly. So they combined psychology, writing, and technology into one focused project. The result was clarity. Not because they limited themselves, but because they integrated themselves. Their confidence increased, their shame decreased, their direction became self-defined. They were never unfocused, they were unstructured, and structure changed everything. You do not need to abandon your passions. You need a system to organize them. Allow exploration without guilt. Identify recurring themes. Design projects at intersections. Work in cycles rather than forcing linear commitment. When you do this, your interests stop competing and start collaborating. You are not meant to shrink your curiosity. You are meant to structure it. You are not inconsistent. You are multidimensional. You are not behind. You are adaptive. You are not scattered. You are networked. In an M-shaped world, your diversity is not noise. It is intelligence. So stop apologizing for being drawn to many things. The same trait that once felt like instability is becoming one of the most valuable cognitive strengths of our time. You were not designed to be a straight line. You were designed for movement, synthesis, and integration. You belong in the M-shaped world. Tell me where you're watching from in the comments. Drop an emoji if you relate to being multi-passionate. Subscribe and join the journey. Because the goal is to finally understand who you already are.